Hey guys, Mika here, and I am bringing you a very special baritone custom Kevin Mason ukulele. And what I mean by very special is that I believe this is man. There's a lot of firsts today, but this is one of the first baritones that I've played, a baritone ukulele, where it's really the purpose of this baritone ukulele is not meant to be tuned with baritone tuning, meaning like you're tuning these four strings as the bottom four strings of a guitar, but it's meant to be tuned either in the standard ukulele tuning, which is the G C E A, or the B flat tuning. B flat tuning meaning that like if I were to hold, so this is the B flat tuning. Now if I were to go up two frets in bar, this would be the standard tuning, which is what we're all used to. So to get that B flat tuning, all you have to do is tune down a whole step. So like if the first letter is G, then you want it to be F. If this is C, then it's gonna be A sharp, right? Or B flat, which is the B flat tuning. And then this is gonna be the E would be turned to D, and then the A would turn into a G. So that's like the tuning of a B flat tuning. And the purpose of that tuning is sometimes when you tune down the instrument like a whole step or one step down, you're allowing the string tension to be a lot looser. And when the string tension is a lot looser, you're gonna have more of a looser, I guess, to better put, a looser sound. So it's gonna sound more open. It's not gonna sound as constricted, or maybe the sound might not sound as tight. But when you loosen the strings and the tension, it's just gonna sound more open. It's gonna sound warmer, especially because the pitch or the tuning is gonna go down, so it's gonna have a lower tune, in essence. So but the maker or the make of this baritone is it's for people who really love playing ukulele, but not only that, but they love hearing that warm sound, which is why a lot of people like to go to that low G tuning or putting the low G string on the ukulele. They really like that warm sound, but warm yet bright sound that the ukulele gives off. But if you were to go ahead and buy a baritone ukulele, you should never try to do this unless the baritone ukulele is able to do this. But you're not supposed to tune your baritone ukuleles to standard tuning or sometimes even B flat tuning, because the tension of the strings will be way too much on the bridge right here. And if you were to try, and again, don't do this at home, you might have the face like come flying off, or the bridge is going to snap because the tension of the strings you cannot handle with the standard tuning on a regular baritone. So if you want literally the absolute warmest sound that you can get out of an instrument, but still want to like retain that standard ukulele tuning, then you found the instrument for you. This is this Kevin Mason custom baritone ukulele. Now, how is it able to achieve that tuning? Well, to compensate for that, extra tight tension, the magic is behind the fretboard and the scale length of the fretboard. So when you play a normal tenor size ukulele, the scale length, meaning if you were to get a ruler and you measure from this nut to the saddle, it's going to be roughly 17 to 17.25 inches. When you get a baritone ukulele, you're going to get average between 20 to 21 inches. So you can see there's a 4-inch difference in the length of the fretboard, or the length of the fretboard, basically. So what this does is that it's like a hybrid of that. It's 18 and 3/8 of a measurement. So it's slightly bigger than the tenor size, but a lot lower than the typical baritone scale length. So by having that scale length that's a little closer to the tenor size, you can go ahead and just about get away with getting that standard tuning for this instrument. But you're going to get a lot of that warm baritone sound because you have a true baritone size body. So if you were to buy a baritone ukulele, this is pretty much the size of the body you're gonna get, but again, this has a shorter scale length, or the fretboard size is gonna be smaller, more towards the tenor size. So you get the best of both worlds. You get kind of like the playability of a tenor size ukulele, with the fretboard being closer to a tenor size, but then you get that big baritone body, but you can still retain the standard tuning. So indeed a very special instrument. One of the first time that I played an instrument like a baritone that I can it's pretty interesting to hear a baritone played when it's tuned this high. So this again is tuned into B flat tuning because it just sounds so open, so warm, and so much resonance. And again, the tension is so loose. I can just I don't even have to press. That's just how loose my fingers can just roll off the string and then kind of make sounds on its own. So it's a lot of fun. When you get a baritone ukulele, when the tension is really loose, you can do all kinds of funky things like that. But anyway, going into the specs of this baritone ukulele, it's a unique baritone ukulele. We have Western red cedar here on the front, and then on the sides and back we have beautiful, like really beautiful claro. I gotta say it slowly, so it's a tongue twister. Claro walnut wood here on the sides and the back, and I just love the grain and the curl in it. Beautiful, all types of different colors, from the little sap here in the middle to the darker streaks, the black streaks, the more orange brown streaks, and it's really beautiful. You can see again all of the colors on the sides, even here on this side, nice big side port right here. But it's really, really beautiful. And then to accent the sides and back, we also have walnut. We have black walnut binding here on the top and on the back. And we also follow that black walnut theme here on the sides of the fretboard right here. And then we also have a walnut theme rosette. This is walnut burl. Even that's a tongue twister. Walnut burl as the rosette, and then we have a nice thin little sliver of abalone shell here in the middle of the rosette. So really beautiful, really elegant, simple, really nice grain on the Western red cedar here on the face of the instrument. And then we have a black and white purfling that goes around the instrument, even here on the sides alongside the black walnut, and then even here on the back. So a nice little accent. And then you can also even see kind of like that white purfling here alongside that black walnut on top of the fretboard itself. Then we've got a cool little design here on the 12th fret. And something to note on this ukulele is that typically standard ukulele is like when you have like a tenor or baritone size instrument. I think baritone even might be 15 frets to the body, 14 or 15 frets to the body, but tenor size are usually, most commonly, you're going to have 14 frets to the body, but this one is 13 frets to the body. And when you play like classical guitar, when you play like the really old classical, like true traditional classical style instruments, you're actually going to have 12 frets to the body, and that 12th fret's going to be the sweet spot where it meets the body, the fretboard meets the body of the instrument. So you're still gonna kind of retain a lot of that more traditional sense by having 13 really close to that 12. But this is again another unique factor of this ukulele by having 13 frets to the body rather than your typical 14 or 15 frets. This ukulele does have, and I can see it, a radius fretboard. And for me personally, I love radius fretboards because I like to make fun of myself and say that I have girl-like hands, and I don't like to press hard on my instrument as my hands get sore. So, you know, when I'm making these bar chords, having that slight natural curvature with the radius fretboard helps making those pesky bar chords like this or like this. All right, so moving on to the headstock, we have a ebony headstock, and then we have the mahogany neck right here, and then we have Rubner tuners here on both sides. Really nice, really elegant, and it has a nice little design etched in here on the side and even on this side. Again, really paying attention to details on this ukulele. Again, what I like too about this ukulele is that it's not too busy. It's beautiful in its own right, but there's not too much going on, so it's not distracting. But then when you go ahead and play like this C chord, that's when you get distracted by how good the ukulele sounds. Again, if you're looking for an ukulele with so much warmth, so much resonance, so much depth, so much just meat in the sound, like this is one of the best ways you can achieve that sound by getting, being able to tune closer to the standard tuning and even tuning this very ukulele to the standard GCEA tuning, but retaining that beautiful warm sound because of the baritone size body. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and explain why this is an excellent sounding ukulele. So what I usually like to do with, when I analyze ukuleles on the sound, I like to use like my little sound spectrum where, I like to, on one end, I like to hear like, okay, does this ukulele have depth? Does it have like meat in the sound? Does it have like that oomph, like when you play a C chord, is there that low end resonance like kind of ringing through? All right, so then now we move to the center. This is where like your warmth will come. This is where the resonance comes. Like, does it fill the room? Does it have a nice sweet sound? How long does it take? Like if I just play a C chord, like literally how long does it take for the sound to finally come to a silence? And this one, probably like 10 seconds. I mean, that's extremely long for an ukulele to be able to resonate that long. So that's what I look for in the mids, and then when you go on the other side, looking for the clarity, the highs, looking for the articulation, the cleanliness of the note, like, you know, making sure that if I'm, you know, running a series of notes, that every single note is clean, it doesn't get muddied over each other, and you can hear the articulation of every single note, especially when you're, like, let's say holding a more complex chord like this. You can hear every single note so clearly and cleanly. Like when I'm moving each individual note, you can hear that note ring out because it's just so clean when I play every single note. And then especially when I play like here higher, like on the 10th and 12th fret, like just listen to that, it's unbelievable. The resonance, the depth of sound, but then hearing that like little sparkle on the A string, super clean. So it checks all of those little, you know, checkpoints or checkbox or the boxes of having a lot of depth with the sound. It fills the room, a lot of warmth. You know, it has a nice, sweet, warm sound. But then when you strum the chord, it just takes so long for it to die out, and it's really beautiful. And then when you're doing fingerstyle, or if you were to just pick on the instrument, you can hear every single note very cleanly. And then the last thing that I want to mention is the vibrato. So when you add a vibrato to a note on any string, you can hear the actual movement of the vibrato. Like literally every time my finger wiggles, you can hear that. Duh. And it's so pronounced. For maybe, let's say you're not playing an ukulele that doesn't have a good resonance or a good, you know, like let's say it goes da, like it just die out really fast. If the note dies out really fast and you try to add a vibrato, there's just no room for the vibrato to take place because the note doesn't last long enough. But when you have an ukulele that has a sustain of like 8 to 10 seconds like this one, you can really feel and hear that vibrato for a long time before the note finally dies out. Even especially on the 12th fret. On the E string, my gosh, C string, super insane. And then G string. Yeah, so this ukulele has it all. Again, if you want a really warm sounding ukulele, super easy to play with the radius fretboard, and but you still want to retain that standard tuning, or if you want to tune it down to this current tuning, the B flat tuning, then this instrument is for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and pay my respects to one of the most influential ukulele players in my life, jazz master ukulele player Benny Chong. Here's his arrangement of Yesterday by the Beatles. And if that wasn't enough warmth for you, here is what this ukulele would sound like with some strumming to really show off how warm this ukulele can sound.